Guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to Black Girl Wrestling. My name is Danny. If you've been here before, my name is Danny, and if you've never been here before, my name is still Danny. And All Elite Wrestling had a show yesterday. It was called Revolution. If I had to describe AEW Revolution in one word, it would be overstimulating. And if I had to give advice to someone who had not seen this show live, I would say take a mood stabilizer. Just so much happens in this show. It's a little bit unnerving. Like, especially the beginning of this show is just like, I was like, this is too much. It kind of evens out, but we'll get into it. My overall thoughts about the show I will save to the end, but yeah, I just thought we could have a little giggle, talk about Revolution itself. Sidebar. I feel like I look really fair right now. I feel like Snow White. That's not a feeling that I'm used to having. I don't particularly like that for me. It's the same makeup as always, but I feel 3 shades off of what I typically am. So don't comment on it, because that's not funny. Also, don't comment on my hair. Don't comment on my hair ever, generally, unless it's a compliment. But like, if you think I don't know, of course I know. Anyway. Okay, so we started off the show, we started off the show bleeding in from 0 Hour to the main card. I didn't watch 0 Hour for the most part. I was watching NASCAR. Anytime there's cars on track, I'm watching that. Honestly, regardless of the series, I'm gonna watch it. So we watched NASCAR and then a little bit of the Oscars. So I did not watch 0 Hour. I will be checking out Willow versus Lena Cross later. But yeah, I missed it. Except like the last 5 minutes of the 21-man Battle Royal. Royale? Is that just a WWE thing? Is that the word? Royale? I have no idea. But Jack Perry won it. I thought that this was an interesting choice. Particularly surprising when you put it in context, no. I mean, Jack Perry and Ricochet have been feuding on and off for quite a while. It seemed like one of the actual few solidified feuds that were taking place within this match itself. Jack Perry's from LA, you know, starting off the show. So I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. I thought that Ricochet for sure would retain. I don't feel like he has done everything that he can with that belt. I know the national championship was intended to be a belt that would be defended all the time, anywhere. And he's been putting in work. He has. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it hasn't been long enough. It hasn't been established enough. I understand this is a belt intended to hot potato a little bit more than like your world title, but like, damn. And maybe it's because I'm biased. Maybe because I think Ricochet is doing really good work right now. And I don't understand taking that belt off him unless you have another title program ready for him right now. Because I think he's great, and I think he's doing great, and I want to see him on my screen and regularly, and I felt like this belt was a way to kind of do that, especially on Collision. But now we don't have that, so really my question is, what's the plan for Ricochet? Jack Perry as national champion, fine. Like, you know, he's already said he intends to defend it, you know, all over, which is the intention of the belt, so, like, good. I'm not particularly moved by it. I mean, I like Jack Perry. I like Jack Perry most when he's wrestling in tag teams. And I like him more than most when he's wrestling with Luchasaurus. Obviously, that's not an option right now. Also, shout out Luchasaurus. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're resting up, getting well. We miss you, big dog. But yeah, I don't think I care about a Jack Perry national title reign. I'm not convinced. So like, I feel like if he's good, I could be persuaded to care. At the moment, I don't. Maybe it's just because I'm salty that Ricochet doesn't have it anymore. So that's actually the first thing that happens on the show. The first full match to take place on this card is FTR versus the Young Bucks. Y'all know how I feel about FTR. Well, maybe if you're brand new, you don't. I don't like FTR. I don't like FTR. I think that their version of old school wrestling is actually just them doing what they accuse teams like the Young Bucks of doing, which is just playing the hits and pandering to a niche specific audience and making you think that just because what you're doing is unique and special. And I don't think that it is. But I digress. I am not so much of a hater that I can say that they like didn't put on a fantastic match with my goats. Now mind you, if the Young Bucks weren't in this match, I would find a way to talk crazy about them. I would find a way to talk crazy about FTR if the Young Bucks weren't in this. I promise. So most of my, I want it to be known, the bulk of my positive feedback is for Matthew and Nicholas. Any criticism that I might withhold, that goes to FTR. I never promised to be fair, neutral, anything like that. I've never promised you that on this channel. You can go back and check every single video. I've promised to be honest. And the honest truth is I don't fucking like FTR. But I loved this match. First you had the Bucks come out and they came out with a really cute entrance with like their kids and like their nieces and nephews, and it was adorable. And they even like gave them pep talks during the match, which was sad because it didn't work, but that did happen. It took place. It was not effective, I would say, but it did take place. But I really started to like tear up during that. One, because I think it's so sweet. Like, you've got kids talking about how much they love their dads and like, you know, best dad ever. Like, that's so sweet. Two, it really started to hit me when I saw them and all those kids in the ring that I was like, oh, we're actually like, we're on the clock. Like, they're not gonna be here much longer. Not like that. That's morbid. I mean, they're not gonna be wrestling much longer. Certainly not full time much longer. And that, like, I feel like I don't talk about the Young Bucks themselves a lot on here because I spend so much time talking about Kenny Omega, which I should. But I feel like sometimes as a consequence, the Young Bucks don't get the shine that they deserve on this channel. I love them down. Those are my goats, truly. And I watched the beginning of that match with a pit in my fucking stomach because I was like, how many more of these are we gonna get? And then they started to go. They were wrestling their asses off, and I was eating out of the palm of their hand. Los Angeles was eating out of the palm of their hand, and it was absolutely fantastic. I loved this match. Now you have a conversation about where it fits within the other matches in their series, and I think that's debatable. But y'all know me. I'm not gonna half-ass anything. I'm not gonna make a statement that I can't back up. R.E. that one project. So I would have to go back and watch all of them and understand the context from which we live. I didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. Obviously I've seen them all, but you know what I mean? Like, if I was gonna say, oh, this is the best one they've ever had, I don't think that's true, but it's better than the last two, maybe three, for sure. This match was fantastic. It had emotion seeping out of it, and like I said, I was already feeling some type of way, and every kick out, I know people feel controversially about that, and there were a lot of kickouts at one. I don't care. When I'm in the moment and when the professional wrestling is that good, I don't have any qualms with things like that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a goat tax, because I'm sure if fucking, I can't think of an example. If Chris Jericho did any of that, I wouldn't want to fucking see it. I promise you that. But he wasn't here. Now, I literally tweeted before the show started. I was like, I have a feeling. I don't know why. I'm not, obviously, an insider. I'm not anything of that nature. I just had a feeling in my gut that All Elite Wrestling and I were not going to see eye to eye about the booking and decision making taking place in this show. I was proven right immediately. Fucking immediately. Because the Young Bucks, who have been tearing it up, they lost. They lost to FTR. Which is one thing. I'm already upset about that. Put yourself in my fucking shoes. I'm already mad. Bucks, shoulders to the mat for Baldy Glocks. Again. Oh, okay. I'm so sure. You think you know him. No! No! And you know how, like, I don't say this with hate in my heart towards Adam Copeland. I've said it on this channel before. Edge, young Edge, as a wrestler, one of the things that intrigued me most about professional wrestling. I had a crush on him. But I digress. All time, Edge and Christian, you guys know, like, we all agree about that. All time, Edge and Christian, yes. The problem is, and you know what, Christian Cage, I'm gonna set you aside. Because when I'm talking crazy about Cope and Cage, I'm actually never talking crazy about Cage. Because the thing is, like, Christian Cage was tearing it up in AEW and everybody fucking loved him. And no, it wasn't about his age. It wasn't about anything like that. He was fantastic and everybody loved him. Here come your mans. The thing about Adam Copeland, you know what? I feel very similarly about Adam Copeland as I did CM Punk. Which was, man, you are really, you like to hear the sound of your own voice, even when what you have to say is nonsensical. And I had flashbacks to Revolution last year, which was closed by Mox and Cope rather than the Hollywood ending. Let's all just sit with that. Last year's All Elite Wrestling Revolution was main evented by Adam Copeland at his big age versus John Moxley, who was doing very boring work at the time. That's not a statement about Mox in general. I love Mox. At the time, that world title team was dead. Adam Copeland at his big age, Mox not really doing nothing, main eventing over one of the best women's matches, honestly, ever. Right. I cannot express to you how little interest I have in seeing FTR versus Cope and Cage. I literally could not, actually I can't think of something I'm less interested in, but that comes later on in the show. They're gonna give that to me too. Lucky me. But oh my god, I don't care. This like I don't care. And I am really upset by the fact that Christian Cage is finally back and this is what we're gonna do with him. I don't want to fucking do that. You're interesting. Go be interesting. And you know what's gonna be worse than the match? Because the match itself, I don't have great hopes for. You know why? Because Adam Copeland, no tea, no shade, no disrespect, you know, but they're gonna have microphones for weeks. I'm gonna have to hear Bald out of Baldy Glocks and Adam Copeland compare dick sizes for weeks. And they're probably gonna do it on Dynamite. They're not even gonna have the decency to do it on Collision. So from one thing that got on my nerves to another, then it was Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir. And I got something mean to say. Alright? I've got something mean to say. Lyric and I did not see eye to eye and have historically not seen eye to eye on Marina Shafir. Lyric is of the opinion that she is decent and that she has continued to show improvement and that she deserved this spot on the pay-per-view. I do not share that same opinion. I will say, like, I don't like to be the person that's, like, kicking someone when they're down or, like, you know, if we're all piling on to someone, I tend to be, believe it or not, I tend to be a person that's like, I'm actually not gonna, like, get in on that, you know, like, especially not when it comes to women. Like, I just don't want to be a part of that. There's no need to spread undue negativity. So I don't throw out no hate tweets. I don't do anything like that. I have said on the Dynamite Diaries before, as well as on Black Pro Wrestling, I have no interest in seeing Marina Shafir wrestle. None. And you know what? I'm gonna say that I think it's you guys and it's your fault that we got what we got next. Because, you know, the match itself was a means to an end. Now, I would have hoped that the end was to get Toni Storm out of whatever she's been doing with the Death Riders and back into substantive programming in the women's division, which would make sense for a former world champion 4 times over, but I digress. But no. Silly me. Because the end was actually to get Ronda Rousey in here. Just like we all talked about. Remember when we all said we wanted that? Right? Fucking right. That really, like... Oh. I think it's this. Like, AEW will give you the most, like, jaw-dropping, fantastic wrestling. Which took place on this card. And I will get to. And you'll be like, this is generational. How could anyone not want to be All Elite? Like, pass me the flag, I'm waving it. And then they will show you some booking and decision making that makes you wonder, do I love the game? Do I really care about the sport? Who in their right fucking mind wanted Ronda Rousey here? Who? Y'all like, oh, well, Marina Shafir needed a tag team partner. I would argue Marina Shafir didn't need no damn TV time. Now what? And now you've secured her some by us rounding up and saying, you know, oh, well, she's improving. So, like, that means she deserves TV time and that means she deserves, you know, a pay-per-view. And since she's such good friends with Ronda Rousey, like, put those two together. And who's gonna do the wrestling? I'm sorry, like, I know this is mean. I really try not to be, like, overtly mean in this. But I do think that part of the reason she's here is that mentality. Is because people thought that this is what we wanted to see. And, you know, I understand at the end of the day, like, corporations are not your friend. We don't know these people. What I do know about Ronda Rousey, all of the things that I know about her are negative. All the things that I know about her are obic, in every sense of all of those words. I know that she's denied the pain and suffering of so many families, by saying that, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but she said, look it up, she said some wild shit. So, you've got her words and her actions, which I find abhorrent. Also coupled with the fact that she can't fucking wrestle. So why is she here? And she hasn't been relevant in professional wrestling for years. And people are like, oh, well, you don't understand. She's going to sell out her big fight when her big return fight. And I don't care about that. I don't care about that. And maybe I'm in the minority and maybe everyone else in the world really cares about this and like I have no perspective. But like as far as like the name weight that Ronda Rousey had when she, for example, was main eventing WrestleMania or whatever, she doesn't have that in big 2026 because she ain't been doing nothing. So this was particularly upsetting to me because it felt like just another misstep in the women's division right now. I feel like, I saw someone put it very eloquently on Twitter, but sometimes it really feels like AEW is so tapped into what their fans want, feel, and desire, and then it comes to the women's division, and it's just like, where did you get that? Who said that? You just made that up. I'm getting all worked up, if you can't tell. But that's how I felt watching the first couple matches and their results and the way things looked after and the returns and the debuts and everything. And like I said, all these things were like back to back. You're like, holy fuck, let me sit down. But you can't sit down because you know what was next? Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. Can I? The way that Takeshita has been booked, I'm trying to backtrack it because like I would argue even before winning the G1, but particularly since winning the G1 Climax, as if that's not one of the most prestigious honors in the sport. Beyond ridiculous. I truly think that this match was a remind people who the fuck I am match, and that's exactly what this accomplished. There was a lot of blood throughout the course of the night. We started off, I don't know, I can't tell the Young Bucks apart all these years later. I don't know who was who, but Hairline was bleeding buckets. And I loved it. There was blood in this match as well. Takeshita's black eye was still like forming. Great visuals, honestly. This match was great. Like I said, I think it served as a fantastic reminder of just how good Takeshita is. And last year we were looking at a wrestler of the year, you know, like caliber performer, and that's who he is. And yes, I understand that the roster on AEW is packed. I think there's been a profound misuse of Konosuke Takeshita, and I think that, man, it just makes me so sad. One, as Takeshita FC, of course, but two, like, I just feel like we're stalling and there's so many missed opportunities, and this was another one. This was another one that I looked at this and I said, whew. Alright, AEW. Don't agree with that one either. Right? So we've got FTR retaining. Copeland Cage back. Can't wait for the feud. And now Ronda Rousey works here. And then Mox retains. Oh, okay. Right. And someone actually said this on Twitter because I wanted to incorporate some of the thoughts and comments from the people who subscribe to this channel or follow us on Twitter, because I think we're a little community. Like, let's all talk. But someone brought up the very good point of, you know, do you think that there's still going to be life in this Takeshita Okada thing for as much as they keep stalling and pushing it back? And my short answer is yes. My long answer is stop letting AEW convince you we have to eat like this. Stop. They love to do this. They love to write themselves into a corner or tease something for you and not give it to you for forever. And then we all have to sit there and be like, well, you know, Well, at least they gave us this, and at least they gave us that. No. I know what y'all got back there. Takeshita and Okada both work here. We've been doing this now for months. Months. And I think ultimately your big payoff is obviously All In. Now the question is though, we still have to do the full-on Takeshita babyface turn, which essentially that's what happened tonight to me. Like, cause you had a crowd that was eating out at Takeshita's palm. They loved him down. And Takeshita, you know, last week on Dynamite saying, no, I'm not gonna attack one with the chair. That's not who I am. So you've got Takeshita who's on the outs with the Don Callis family. Already kind of was, but we've got to figure out the Kyle Fletcher thing first. Is Kyle Fletcher also going to turn face and come with you, or we got to get through that match before we even think about the Okada thing? Do we do a three-way? I don't want a three-way, because what you've been building towards is Takeshita Okada. I think if you intended to do it at All In, you went beyond planting the seeds. I think it's different to plant the seeds like a year in advance, and then, like, you know, we get it every once in a while, we get our little teases. That's not what you did. You, like, kind of yo-yoed. Like, you put the yo-yo all the way down and then you didn't bring it back up. You, like, we did everything but the match. And then you haven't given it to us. And will it be as hot as it was 3 months ago? No. You've got to find a way to heat that back up. And I hope that you can. I think babyface Takeshita will certainly help, because the people yearn for it. It's fantastic. I think Cash Money Kazu will, of course, he's going to lock in for this one. He is. I don't know. I just don't know why they think that we have to live like this. But the match itself was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I should probably give these rankings out of 5. Can I be so honest? I'm gonna be really lenient this time. Usually I feel like I'm real strict. FTR Young Bucks, 4 out of 5. Tony Storm, Marina Shafir, 2. Mox Takeshita, 4 out of 5. Guys, okay, and then we got the Billy Goat back, which I was actually having this conversation with my dad like the other day, and I was like, they were teasing Ospreay, like beyond teasing Ospreay 3 weeks in a row before Revolution, and then they stopped. And so in my head, it was either one of two things. Oh, he's coming back at Revolution and that return's like imminent, and they wanted you to remember him, but not to like straight up tell you, oh, he's gonna be here next week. Or there was a setback and they thought the timeline that they were on is no longer the timeline that they were on. Obviously it was option A, Billy go home, Demon home pussy. I'm not as excited for this return as I would have been this time last week. And I'm not gonna like get so much into it, but I think if you're watching this channel, you're probably aware of the discourse around Ospreay, Paul Robinson, that photo. And it's hard because I don't want to speak in like broad sweeping generalizations in terms of, I don't want to speak on anyone's character because I don't know these people. And I feel like that's an important thing to remember, whether we're talking about Hangman, whether we're talking about Ospreay, whether we're talking about any of these different situations. Like, I try to use the discretion and be like, I don't know these people. Do I have a right to be disappointed in these people that I don't know for taking a photo with someone else that I don't know? And my answer to that is, I don't know. Like, I don't have the answers in terms of what's allowed and what's not allowed. Like, for me to feel as a fan, or, you know, because then I think you get into the conversation of, is it parasocial for me to be so invested in these people's personal lives? Probably. And So like that's on us. Do I think it's still reasonable to not want people that you enjoy being entertained by make decisions like that off camera? I do think that's reasonable. You know, like, I'm trying to be very pragmatic about the whole thing. I don't know. I will say, like, as someone who is ostensibly connected to pro wrestling, it was never my goal, desire to, like, I really don't care about people's personal lives. Like, I really don't. I've said a million times, I don't know these people. Same thing I say about AEW, and like, people be like, oh, like their ticket sales XYZ. I'm not getting any of that money. AEW has cut me nary a fucking check, bro. Like, it's important to have that distance between yourself and a company, yourself and the people that you stand. Like, I don't know. It's important to have that. At the same time, like, am I gonna just scroll past that shit? No! That's gross. That's gross. Man, and I think at the same time, right, like, I'm gonna gap about this for a second. I think at the same time, right, like, I've watched a lot of Ospreay matches at this point. Very familiar with William Peter Charles's career. And you know what I did when I was doing that project? I intentionally, I tried to be thoughtfully, went through all of those matches, researched who of these opponents over the years have been named in speaking out movements. And then I don't fucking review their matches. Because you don't just get to sneak back in here and, like, I actually think it's so easy to just, like, exclude these people. Like, I think it's so easy. Like, and we're acting like it's difficult. And it's really, to me, it's not. It's really not. But again, I don't know. Do I know if you have a right as a fan to feel any type of way? I don't know. Honest to God, like, I don't know what that answer is. We should get like a psychiatrist in here to, like, talk us through. I say us, maybe you guys are fine about this, but, you know, like, I think between that and, like I said, a couple weeks back with the cowboy, like, I'm tired. Are you guys not tired? Like, I'm tired of having to have this conversation about men that I don't know. Like, why do I have to... Do you know what I mean? I don't know if any of this is making any sense. It's just like a continuous train of thought. But, I don't know. TLDR, I like watching Will Ospreay wrestle. That's it. I like watching Will Ospreay wrestle. I have historically liked watching Will Ospreay wrestle. I like watching Hangman wrestle, or I have historically liked watching Hangman wrestle. And I think everybody has to, we've said this before, Dynamite Diaries on BG Dub, everybody's got to draw their own lines in terms of what they are willing to still be a fan of. Completely candidly, you know, like, I don't have all the answers for each and every single person. I don't know. But I think I'd be remiss if I just didn't, like, talk about it. We'll see. Ospreay addresses Mox. And people are like, oh, they were really excited to see this because Mox tried to kill Ospreay before he broke his neck. I don't remember any of that, honestly. And I'll take it one step further. Guess what, guys? I don't think I care. William Peter Charles, if you gonna wrestle, I got other names on the list, right? Like Mox in this international, is that what he has? The international championship, like, that's just not on my radar, Diva. It's just not on my radar in terms of what we got to do, because William Peter Charles will be in the main event of All In. That feels like an inevitability to me, not even something that I'm like campaigning for. It's just like he's gonna win the world title at All In. He's gonna wrestle Kenny for the world title at All In, right? Like, that's the match. It has to be, right? So if that's the case, what are we doing here now? You know? I don't know if y'all feel me. That's how I feel. What was next? Spades of Wrath versus Divine Dominion. This was fine. I think that they told us pretty early on with the Willow shoulder injury that this was going to be a short match, and that's what it was. It was fine. I think it was also like so clear to everyone that Megan Bayne and Lena Cross were going to win those belts, because we knew that Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford were supposed to win those belts a couple weeks back. So I don't think anyone should have been surprised by anything that happened in that match, around that match. I'm excited to see Megan Bayne and Lena Cross as these tag team champions for a couple of reasons. One, because I think they rock. I'm excited that Megan Bayne finally has some gold around her waist. I think she was been too good in AEW to have that stagnant booking that she had for so long. So I'm just excited we have that. Two, I think that they bring a level of intensity to the women's division that I think that streets need right now. And three, I'm excited that now we have separated the TBS title and the tag team titles. I love Willow Nightingale. Everybody loves Willow Nightingale. And she pulled double duty tonight. I think that I don't think that there was enough of a booking plan to be able to have both of those belts tied up in one storyline. And at one point, we had all three belts tied up in one storyline. And that was really... we weren't getting the best out of the women's division because everybody was focused on the same thing, rather than us having an actual main event scene, an actual mid-card, and an actual tag division. So I'm excited that now we've separated those, and we'll see really what that leads to in terms of these tag belts, because I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what they can be. I'm so excited for that match with the Brawling Birds that's going to take place inevitably. Yeah, that's where we are with that. This was a 3 out of 5. Not particularly memorable to me, but serviceable. Did what we all knew it would do. Next was Brody King versus Swerve Strickland. Can I be completely honest with you guys and say I don't remember most of this match? Now, I need to go back and rewatch it again, because I like both of these people a lot and I love watching them wrestle, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's because this was about the time of the night that I started getting sleepy. This had to be circa what, 10:30 on a Sunday? So I did start to get sleepy during this match. That is not because they were putting me to sleep. It's just a consequence of where we were. So I liked this match. I will have to go back and rewatch it to give you an honest ranking. But I wanted to get this video out in a timely manner, so sorry. But I'm sure it was great. But next up we had 2 out of 3 falls with Tekla Stat. Stat she was on some demon time last night. It was fantastic to see. She was wrestling with a chip on her shoulder. And I loved it. This match was, she had a bite and a snap to her that we don't always see. I wanted a heel turn. We didn't get it. I wanted a heel turn. 2 out of 3 falls. I will say, again, there were a lot of stipulations throughout the course of the night, because Tony versus Marina was everyone banned from ringside. Mox versus Takeshita was no time limit. And then you had Tekla versus Stat, which was 2 out of 3 falls. And like, which is a lot. Like I said, the whole night was just generally like overstimulated. There was a lot going on. But Tekla gets the win ultimately. I'm not surprised by that. She hasn't held this belt for very long. But I think that Stat world title reign, I think that this match demonstrated that we had so much that could have been accomplished in that Stat world title reign that we didn't get to see. Because Stat's best attribute is her wrestling. The thing she does better than most women in the world is wrestling. And she had some good matches during her world title reign, some great matches leading up to it. But I don't know, I just feel so dissatisfied with her world title reign, especially after watching her wrestle like that. Like, and especially knowing, like, man, I really don't know what the lineage of this belt's gonna look like now. Like, I don't know when we double back. Because, like, we still got to get that belt on Willow. We still got to get that belt on Mercedes. And when Mercedes has that belt, she's going to have it for a long time. You know, as she should, you know. But she's going to have it for a hot second. And so, what do we do? So, I don't know. Sisters of Sin come out there, celebrate with her. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it, actually. I think will probably get lost among the great matches on this card. But I really, really liked it. I really liked it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. Also, please note that my ratings are best and final. These are the only ones that matter. Thank you. Oh my god. Next we had Aussie Open and Okada. I'm not calling them Proto-Okada. Kyle Fletcher, you have a husband. And you out here trying to use a ship name with another man. That's crazy. Versus Jet Speed and Mystico. You knew this match was going to be good because you saw who was in it. This was exactly what the show needed at the time. It needed something just fast-paced, energetic, a little bit chaotic. It was great. I loved this match. This was the kind of match that you, like, that I think a lot of people associate with AEW now. Just a baller multi-man. I can't believe I said baller in 2026. And then I got makeup on my hand. Guys, I'm 23. I'm not a million. But I am unk. Wait, no, I don't want to be unk. Is there like a term for like, what's in between like sister and uncle? I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. If I had to pick an MVP, it would be Speedball. Speedball really likes to use their body as like a Molotov cocktail, and I love that about him. I love it. But yeah, Speedball was on one. Kyle Fletcher was nasty in this match. He was really, really vicious in this match. Loved it. That's another match that I think, like, you could drop that match almost anywhere. That match would do well and be received well almost anywhere. Because it was fantastic. It was upbeat. This is what the fans want to see. This is literally what the fans want to see. Can I go back? Oh my god. Guys, I can't fucking believe it. I was talking about Brody King versus Swerve Strickland, And I forgot that Kenny Omega came back. I genuinely cannot believe that I forgot to mention the Kenny Omega return. Do you understand how much has to be happening on your professional wrestling show for that to slip my mind? I can't even blame AEW. That's on me, guys. That really doesn't sit well with me, and I don't know how to edit. Fuck. Kenny Omega came back. The goat of all goats. The best to ever do it. Kenny by God Omega came back, and we're gonna run that feud with Swerve. It was really fascinating because, like, a lot of the stuff, like, Ospreay coming back, like, they gave him the super soldier serum that they gave to Bucky Barnes. They are going to study him in a lab like a little middle school frog. Cause what the hell? You broke your neck. And I said from the jump when Ospreay got injured, I was like, Ospreay and Kenny are both freaks in the sense that their bodies bend to their mental wills. Like, that's some freak shit. And so when everybody's like, oh, Ospreay not finna be back for this, he not finna be back for that, I was in there, I'm like, I don't know, guys. He's a little crazy. Please forgive me. Please act like I didn't just fucking forget the Kenny Omega return, because that's gonna make me crash out in a way that's actually, like, not funny. like none of us will have fun. Next was the match of the night. Oops, who said that? Me. I fucking said that. Bandido versus Andrade el Idolo. This match was so hot. This match was so good. I genuinely, like, guys, I have the memory of a dead goldfish. I remember so much of this match in detail. This match was so clean and fluid, and I haven't seen a professional wrestling match that flows that well. Maybe ever. They had beautiful chemistry in every sense of the word. And it was absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. And I want to say, I knew it would be. As a day one Bandido shooter, a day one Bandido appreciator, y'all can't tell me nothing about my goat. You can't tell me nothing about Bandido. But I'm not gonna act like I felt that same way about Andrade. Andrade's first run in AEW, I was apathetic towards. When he left for WWE, didn't particularly care. Ever since he has come back, he has been the demon of all time, and it has been a sight to fucking see. This match was incredible. If you're going to watch a match from tonight, well, Texas Death aside, because Texas Death and those kinds of graphic matches to me are, like, different. I don't know if that's like a separation I have to make in my own head, but, like, I don't think of them in the same vein as, like, a pure straight up wrestling match, because that's what this one was. If you're gonna watch just a clean match from tonight, hands down needs to be Bandido versus Andrade. But the main event was fantastic, and I'll talk about that too. God, what a fucking match, man. It was fantastic. Andrade won. I'm fine with that. What we need to do is, like, I'm never gonna give up on this Bandido AEW World Champion agenda, and I just gotta figure out how I can get it to him, cause I feel like we're a step further from the vision than we were rounding out last year. but I haven't lost it. Bandido and my clientele you just gotta trust your manager. I'll figure it out. I will get to the bottom of this, and you will be AEW World Champion before the end of the fucking day. You hear me? Next was the Dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd versus Darby, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong. I didn't care about this even a little bit. Didn't care. Thought maybe Jay White was coming back because everybody else came back. Now Jay White. That did surprise me. Y'all know I'm not Jay White's biggest fan. I'm not Jay White. People think I'm a Jay White hater. I'm not Jay White's biggest hater either. I just think that people like to put Jay White in conversations where he don't belong. Like, he's fine. He's perfectly fine as a wrestler. He's not like, you know, he's cool. He's fine. But then we start talking and y'all start being like, yeah, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, right? Tetsuya Naito, right? Kazuchika Okada, Jay White, Will Ospreay. No, you tried to sneak him in there. You tried to sneak him in there. But I don't even know why I'm getting worked out. He wasn't there. I just don't want, I hope he's okay, because William Peter Charles broke his neck and came back faster than Jay White. And that just leads me to believe that something's like really wrong. So I never want to wish hurt, harm, or injury on anyone, like, ever. You know, love them, hate them. That's not something that I'm gonna do. So I just genuinely hope he's okay, because I like saw everybody else returning and I was like, still no Jay White? But I digress. Didn't care about that match at all. And then finally we had that goddamn main event. I'll tell you what. I love bloody, gory, disgusting, graphic wrestling that has really particular images that stay with you for at least the week, some of them for the rest of your life. This match had one in particular, and it was of the syringe going through Hangman's mouth, clean through his mouth, and whatever fucking liquid that was coming straight out the side. That was fucking crazy. I picture that like I saw it in a dream last night. I swear to God, it was in my dream last night. That, mind you, that was because the show didn't end until fucking 1 a.m. or whatever. But I dreamt of that. What does that say about me? What does that say? Like, nothing good. This match was fantastic. I will say, first off, MJF, people talk crazy about him. A lot of times deservedly so. This second world title reign has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think he has, like, all of the criticisms that I think you could have leveled against his first world title reign, I don't think you can level towards this one. Now, obviously, there are different ones and nothing's perfect, but we're not making the same mistakes. He's wrestling more. He's choosing his words more carefully and more intentionally, and he's still being an asshole. He's still getting the intended reception. Did he think aside? I'll say from then on. This second world title reign has been very good. This match, I think, kind of encapsulated the growth, because he doesn't do Texas death matches. He don't do death matches. And I think that part of his first world title reign was that, like, I'm not gonna wrestle because that's not who I am, and like, I think the landscape of AEW has changed so much since then that, like, you're out of place if you're not willing to run the blade. You are out of place, especially in the main event scene. So I was really glad to see that stipulation, to see him in a stipulation like that, because it's like, oh no, you are willing to get down. Good. Because given the state of where we are right now, you were going to have to in order for this to continue to go well. And he did. Man, I'll tell you, he man, him and that cowboy. And that brings me to Hangman Adam Page. It's all your fault. Like, it's literally all your fault. Nobody told you to volunteer that stipulation. Nobody told you to say, oh, well, if I don't win this match, I can never challenge for the world title again. You just made that up. Why? Why would you say that? And that was my thought process before, during, and after. Why would you say that? Even if you were trying to get your point across of being like, oh, I don't deserve it, like, whatever. Then say while MJF is champion. Then say for a year. Then say, I don't fucking know, whatever. Don't Cody Rhodes yourself. And I know people are going to be in the comments in the same way they have been since this got announced and be like, it's not going to stick, Danielle. It's not going to, he's going to turn heel and he's going to go back on his word and he's going to whatever. I don't care. Do you understand how stupid this is? And you know how long it might be until we fucking get that? Who knows? And then it's like, okay, so if he turns heel and he wins the belt back as a heel, drops it again, turns babyface, now he still can't challenge for the world title. Like, it's just so incredibly frustrating to me. I don't know, man. The match itself was incredible. I thought it was unique. I think a lot of people were wondering how this Texas Death Match was going to be different from other Texas Death Matches. And I think that, to Hangman's credit, they all have their own identities. This one felt, I hate when people say this about professional wrestling, but it felt like very over the top in a good way. It felt very cinematic to me when it was Hangman's playing this character, MJF is playing this character, and they're both dialed in, like, and I think that it was absolutely phenomenal. There were several times over in this match where I was like, oh my god, they're fucking dead! I love that shit. I live for this shit, man. I live for it. I want nastier, disgusting. I like anything that y'all are willing to do safely. I want to see it. I'm never going to be like, I was literally watching and I was like, rip his eyebrows out. Yeah. Exploding table. Yeah. Drag his ass through barbed wire. Now what? Yeah. Did think one of the crazier moments of the match was when the crowd was chanting, we want fire, and you saw whatever the hell was in Hangman's eyes, and he was like, who has a lighter? Yo! Yo! Like, and what I liked about this iteration of Texas Death was, like, I think you had the added pressure, obviously, because we knew that there was the, Hangman can never challenge again thing weighing over our heads, but it felt like everything they did in this match made sense. Like, it felt like everything they did served a purpose. It didn't feel like we were, oh, now we're just gonna grab the broken glass, or now we're gonna whatever. I think they built to everything so incredibly well. I said my favorite part was the syringe. I loved the dog collar touch. That's something that I think really fit for the two of them. Hangman loved that chain, and MJF's dog collar match with CM Punk is so highly regarded. And I honestly, guys, I can't say enough good stuff about this match. And maybe it's recency bias because it was literally fucking yesterday, but I loved it. I love when pro wrestling makes me feel something. And the matches on this card that made me feel something where MJF versus Hangman, which was like, I felt enthralled as it was happening, and then I felt utter, sheer devastation at the result, because in Texas Death, there's not even like, we can't even walk it back and say like, oh, MJF cheated, because guys know he didn't. He literally didn't, and you, like, there's no cheating, it's Texas Death, and like, so you can't even walk it back and be like, oh, well, I want my world title shot because you did XYZ. No, he didn't. Fuck. Like, you're fucking cooked. But yeah, I'm overall, my thoughts on Revolution, it was a lot. I would argue it was too much. I think that you could have spaced out a lot of these returns. Do I think we need Copeland Cage right now? No. Do I think, here's a controversial take, do I think that you should have held off to have Ospreay come back on a night where it was just Ospreay coming back? Yes. I think that he's a big enough deal, and he's going to inevitably be your world champion by the end of the year. I think I wouldn't have put it on a night with 3 other returns and a debut. A semi-debut, because she was on Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Maybe that's me. Maybe that's me. But I would have loved to see some of these things spread out, whether it was for a special edition Dynamite. You can make shit up. You can make some up. I think it's as a consequence of having 3 months between your last pay-per-views. I think there are pros and cons, obviously. I think one of the cons is that you feel the need to throw everything you've been sitting on at us today. And yes, everyone got their money's worth, but like, as an avid viewer of All Elite Wrestling, it was a lot for me, you know? So I just imagine folks who don't necessarily keep up as much. I don't know. Looking at some of the comments that you guys left when I kind of made you. Someone said this was the first AEW pay-per-view I can recall where I was ramp watching because of the number of post-match returns. It had started to condition my brain to expect them and then to somehow be disappointed when they didn't occur, like the dopamine had created a dependency. I completely agree. That's why I would have spaced them out. I think that every match, especially because like the first 3, there was something, I think that every match had you looking up or waiting for the lights to go out. And I don't think you need to do that so many times over. Like, I don't think that's healthy either. Also, someone said, Danny, I think you know there's a big elephant in the room you're going to have to address. My condolences. What does that mean? Like, I've genuinely, so like, that was 6 hours ago. I have no idea what that means. Did I address it? Please let me know. Biggest takeaway was Hangman losing this step. I literally can't imagine Hangman trapped in the mid-card territory. He'll make it work, though, and I have faith in creative to do something good. Young Bucks are an all-time tag team. Also, 4 returns in one night felt semi-crowded. It did feel crowded to me. It definitely did. Hangman's not going to be in his mid-card. Look, Hangman and the Billionaire might have signed off on that. I didn't. I didn't sign off on that, which makes it unofficial. So, I don't know what we gotta do, but that can't happen. You're not getting Cody Rhodes. Someone said, I think I've landed in the pro camp for the Hangman stip for now. Interesting. It was interesting to see the crowd be a bit mixed on him during the beginning of the match, and then the sense that the ending hit them harder than they were expecting. What the fuck with the whole Ronda thing? I don't know with the whole Ronda thing, guys. Like, I don't know why either. Yeah, the crowd was split. To start with Hangman, I wasn't particularly surprised by that. You were in LA, and if there's a chronically online audience, I would bet it'd be the West Coast one. So that didn't really surprise me. I think I will give credit to MJF for kind of rectifying that and balancing the crowd back out to hate him more. Because I think that was pretty well taken care of honestly, by the time the match started. Thank God Jet Speed won. That was some good ass wrestling up and down the card, but man, those results were such a downer overall. Yeah, booking and creative and I do not see eye to eye. And neither do you. I knew the babes would drop the belt, but it blows that Penelope wasn't part of the tag. She keeps getting the worst of it. Mystic Ball Nights is a workshopping name. Felt good winning, but a short time for Don Callis family to hold. Brody, I wanted to get the win, but Swerve is beast. Yeah, I do. I wish Penelope Ford all the best in her recovery. I do think it's going to be hard for her to get that tag team spot back from Lena Cross until they split the two of them up with the intention of Megan Bango going after a singles title. I think it's going to be tough for her to get that back, but I'm rooting for her to overcome this injury, of course. Jess Speed and Mystico winning. I think they're the more interesting trio to watch on week to week. Now, Aussie Open and Okada, fantastic, but they don't have any intentions of being just trios champions. So again, like I was saying about the TBS title and the women's tag titles, like if this isn't going to be what you're having these people focus on solely, then maybe we don't need to do it. You know, it's different from like a Mercedes belt collector where she's like from all these different promotions, you know, and she's focusing on each title but in all these different places. This is like, I like the idea that we can concentrate a little bit on these divisions that need a little love, but being the trios and the women's tag. Is Ospreay feuding with Mox prior to the Owen? Is that going to be for the title? If it is, does Ospreay lose? I don't know what you do with Ospreay. TBH, bro. Maybe that'll be a separate video. Someone said this. Okay, someone said too many heels in the main event scene. We barely got any rest from that Mox reign before Hanger lost the belt again. And now we have another year-long MJF reign. Enough is enough. And I'm going to add that with someone else's thing, which is I really think AEW's main event scene needs some fresh faces in it. Kenny is now pretty much the only face established enough to chase the big one. There's plenty of people I love that I wouldn't mind winning, but it feels like they've only set up heels outside of Kenny. Completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. Someone also added, why are we getting so many rematches with the same people? Can we see some of the other people that work backstage? I agree. All Elite Wrestling. Let's put our thinking caps on. Let's look up and down that roster, babes. And let's start putting together some new combinations of people. Too many bitches back there for us to just be walking back. Rematch and rematch and rematch. And you need some baby faces. God damn, do you need some baby faces. You need to turn Takeshita today. We gotta pull Kyle Fletcher out there. I'm sorry. You've gotta pull Kyle Fletcher out there. I think having William Peter Charles back will help. Having Kenny back will help. But, yeah, I think part of it's because you have 90 billion I was gonna say hoes. They're not hoes. 90 billion bitches in the Don Callis family. And they're all heels. Like, yes, I agree with that sentiment. Like, we need to start... There's too much talent there for there to be any moment of stagnancy. I agree. I think that about the men's and women's division. Too much talent there for us to be recycling and not creative. That's lazy. Everybody's too good for that.